Hi Shyamla.
Hi.
What are we doing here?
I thought I was supposed to question you.
I thought I was supposed to question you. Are you the guest?
Not you.
Okay. Okay.
Does it matter?
Doesn't matter. So let's start. Welcome to another episode of the Chatterbox. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to meet the powerhouse of behind the scenes. She is the queen of all brands. She is the maverick of all brands. She is the fan of K-pop, and she is also the heart of Mia. The one and only Shyamla.
Yes. That's a fantastic introduction. Thank you. K-pop, yes. Powerhouse, lovely. But I thought I was the one who was supposed to be doing this and hosting this.
Okay.
So I thought I'm going to introduce Shiven to you. The young, vibrant, energetic, dashing.
Okay.
Brains behind the Fastrack brand and all the wearables out there.
Yeah.
So come, let's begin to know a little about each other. Let's not
Sure.
let's have a chatter and a banter. I think
Sure.
that's better.
So how do we do this? You want to go first and talk about yourself?
So, you know, I was reading a bit about your profile on LinkedIn and just before this show, and I thought you have a very interesting background, Shiven.
Okay, thank you.
You want to take it off from there?
Well, I also checked your Instagram profile, and what I saw that you don't have one profile, you don't have two profiles, you have three profiles. One is you being you, and there's something which is around travel, and there's something about food, and
yes.
that got my attention. And I think it's very interesting to see someone like you so active on social media, and that is something very interesting.
Now you're really making me sound old, Shiven.
No, but that's what it is, right? I mean, in today's time, digital has become a thing, and it's quite interesting to know how you have done so many things. You are the boss lady, but you also have a life where you are showing what you travel, where you travel, and what are the kind of things you have done. So why don't you just give us some glimpse of what you are, who you are, and what Shyamla is all about?
Okay, so so I think I'm an India-born confused Desi.
Okay.
So what I mean is my roots are in Palakkad. So sometimes I'm a Tamilian, sometimes I'm a Keralite.
Okay.
It doesn't help matters that I was born in Calcutta and I'm a fourth generation Calcuttan. My father had a traveling job, which meant I was in multiple schools in my schooling life till I actually joined college. And so I have soaked in various cultural nuances of the cities I was in. And so that's a bit about me. But at the heart of it all, I have had a typical South Indian upbringing. Freezing cold water baths even in the Delhi winters before going to school. Okay. You know, be it and focus on studies. So I'm very fortunate in a way that I had parents who guided me and insisted I need to make a mark for myself. And so studies was paramount importance. And yeah, so that's what makes me who I am, I guess. So, you know, one of the things that I think binds the Gen X and the Gen Z is the use of technology and digital.
Okay.
You know, probably we were the first generation that started using it. So, have you heard of a pager or a Nokia 1100?
I've heard of a pager. I have seen a Nokia 1100, but I have never used or taken a pager in my hand. So, have you?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a leash. What did we call it in those days? It was something that we called as a
pouch.
It was like a leash. You had it on you,
okay,
and you were called whenever people pinged you. You actually ran to the nearest telephone booth to call people up. So yes, I mean that's the generation I come from. You said about Nokia. You asked me about a pager.
Yeah.
What was your first phone?
Okay. My first phone was a Moto Razr. Very fancy phone. I used to love flipping it. This was in class 9. My parents didn't know that. So
Class 9.
Sorry.
Class 9.
Yeah.
Folks.
Seriously? And I studied in a boys' school, and showing off was a thing. So yeah, I mean Moto Razr was one, but cut to that I moved to a very cheap phone after that. But yeah, that was my fame to game sort of a thing.
But having said that, what about you? Tell me a little about yourself. I mean, your LinkedIn I did get a peek of it, but I think there's a lot more to you. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my life has been a roller coaster journey for myself. I was brought up in Guwahati, Assam, and I did my schooling there. Back in the day, I was pretty focused on playing table tennis. I have played table tennis for good 14 years, and I used to represent the state. I used to be a sports authority of India Cup player, and a lot of things were happening around me. And that is where I wanted to be, a player, a table tennis player who represents the country. But that changed, and it just happened because I thought ki it's better that I put my energy somewhere where I can do more. Then I thought ki I should join defense. I did my graduation, and I also gave a CDS exam. It's a written exam you have to do, and I did that, and I cleared that. But I did not. The next round didn't happen. So I was like, ठीक है चलो ये नहीं हो, because I was back in the mind. I was always thinking, मुझे MBA करके marketeer नहीं बनना है. But today I am a marketeer.
Ironical.
So I thought, why not? So my sister is a journalist, and I always look up to her. And I thought, let's do advertising, because I was very keen on, back in the day, looking at Fevicol ads, looking at TVS Chal Meri Luna ads of the past, was very fascinating for me. So I took advertising, and I did a course of advertising in post-graduation, and I got picked by Ogilvy, which is country's biggest advertising company out there. And that happened, and it was a very interesting journey. It's the lifestyle of an advertising company is very different compared to a corporate job. We used to wear half pants and knickers and slippers and go to work late hours, stuff like that. And working there, I also realized how consumers are and what people think. And for me, the biggest challenge was to work on the campaign for a very big political party. And it was back into 2014, and it was an interesting affair. I learned so many things, and post that I thought, what, aage kya? What happens on the other side of the table? So I thought, let's take a corporate job. And it was funny, I moved to a BFSI category, and now working with Titan since last 1 year has been a very interesting affair. Initially when I joined Titan, I was thinking it will be a job where I have to be on time, I have to wear formals and stuff like that. But it is not what it is. It's a company which lets you open your heart, put in your thoughts, give your heart and soul, and you will see results. So I'm very glad I'm here, and I believe like you have been here for so long, I would also want to do that with Titan.
Yeah, it's a love affair that never ends.
Yeah, totally.
When I came in, a lot of what you said resonates with the kind of work I've been doing. So I just completed 20 years here.
Oh, I completed 1 year.
Which is why I think it's a very interesting jugalbandi here. So, but in the 20 years, I think I've had multiple exposures to multiple categories. And I think what you spoke about customers is something which interests me. In fact, I want to know a lot more about the campaign you spoke about. I think I know which one you're referring to, but later, off the record, I guess. So
let's not give them footage.
Yes. So what I think is understanding customers is something that delights me. And I've had this opportunity to work with various consumer segments, whether it is the young millennial with international brands like Tommy Hilfiger, or working with kids when we launched Zoop. And I think understanding this culturally rooted, progressive Indian woman when we crafted the brand identity for Taneira.
Yeah.
And now it's even more fun because it's a whole new world of understanding Gen Zers and figuring out their world and how it works for a brand like Mia.
Yeah.
So it's been a wonderful ride, and I think I would call myself an entrepreneur. And I like the fact that you said that Titan gives you this opportunity to think, explore, and do, because I think that's what keeps me ticking here.
Yeah.
The fact that you can do your own jig, you can do your own thing here without being judged, allowed to fail, celebrate the successes. I think it's fantastic. So I'm so glad you feel like that, and as somebody in the system for a while, it makes me very proud.
But anyway, having said that, I think you yourself have such an interesting journey, you are so active on social media, and the way your Instagram game is, I'm like bang on. Okay, she knows how to put captions, She knows how to put the right frame of photos and the right filters. I'm like, okay, but tell me one thing. When it comes to Mia as a brand,
Yeah.
you know, you talk about Mia is a very young brand, and but when it comes to the generation, do they even relate to gold, or do they relate to something which is more like an artificial jewelry?
Heavy question पूछ लिया रे. But I think the good thing about the heavy question is Mia is all about lightweight jewelry.
Yeah.
And to your question, I think the way we are positioned, while we speak to the Gen Z, because that's the language we like, you know, we stand for what the Gen Zers stand for, whether it is sustainability, whether it is thrift shopping, whether it is, you know, buying and expressing themselves, and the fact that they are borderless.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about the tribe that they prescribe to. So that's what we are talking about. And hence, to me, I think we have the act right. So they're largely on a digital platform. I suppose that is why I've also learned it. In fact, in my team, I have a lot of youngsters, and they mentor me on this.
Oh, is it?
So Instagram is something that I was always interested in. I like being on top of the game of what's happening. It's who I am. You know,
Yeah.
that's, I told you, right? I mean, focus always on
Yeah.
winning and doing what you have to do and learn. So I think that's why my social handle is the way it is. But that helps me in understanding what my TG is doing, you know, and what and how it is. And I think that's what works for me in terms of understanding where they are, doing what they do, and bringing in those elements in shaping the brand.
Nice.
So that's how I do that part of it. So for us, I think nothing gives us more energy and learning than meeting consumers. So when I started off with Mia, I think I must have met over 100 young people, just trying to understand, you know, why they like Mia, getting humbled with the responses, you know, on what Mia makes them feel. And I think meeting consumers face to face is something which is fantastic. And I don't know if data can really replace that. Because for me, it's all about not just hearing what they say, but also hearing the unsaid. And then the data is so rich and layered that to actually distill out and take the essence for insight is what gives me kicks. But having said that, when I talk to my younger team members, it's all about a Google form. You know, it's all about data mining. It's all about, you know, things which the digital world holds in store. Tell me, how does it work for you?
Well, for us, recently we did a campaign for Fastrack, and we launched the brand Fastrack Smart. Our one pain point was Fastrack as a brand is always seen, you know, as an analog fashion accessory, the OG cool brand. But the tech part was not coming out very clearly. At this side, we also had an app, because we are selling smartwatches since 2017. We had an app, and we keep on going back to the app because it gives us a lot of information. When I say data, it's not about how many watches we have sold, how many numbers we have made, or how many people are interacting with what features. What are they actually looking at in a smartwatch? You know, while we were working on it, we realized that watch faces are a thing, because it changes the entire look and feel of the watch. So that was one interesting data which came up. We also realized, you know, that this consumer which we are talking to, they are active on social media, and they are only active in the late hours from 9 to 12, or in the early hours of 6 to 9 also. So what does it tell you? That so basis all these pointers, we decided, you know, not to do a big ass campaign of TVC and launch it on TV, traditional media. We went all out on social media. We released the film through Ranveer Singh's handle on, I'll come to Ranveer Singh also.
Oh yeah. More about that later.
On around 9 AM in the morning, and it gave us massive traction organically. And that only helped us because we knew what we were doing in terms of when to put out the video, in terms of what to show in the video, in terms of, and all those data points came because we went back to our books. We saw what the consumers are looking for, and not just through the app, but how are they consuming content on social media. Because like I said, you know, it's very important to show a life insight to this consumer which we are trying to tap on. Not in a way ki you talk about something which is missing in your life and you have it, but blending it in a way where you fit in their entire narrative, in their entire storyline. So it was very interesting.
You know, actually it's quite interesting when you say how the app can be used. Maybe I need to go back and check.
Yeah.
Because we also launched Mi app recently, and I think now probably we have enough traction to actually understand. Also, no wonder my team members keep talking about data mining.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I do belong to history books.
For us also, you know, on the app we have few things like music, sleep music, we have articles. So we have seen a lot of people going to those sections also, using sleep music to maybe to sleep.
So basically you're being actually a helpful partner to the consumer who's there for fulfilling his or her needs.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. You know, actually data or consumer insights are fantastic. I remember, since you were talking about Ranveer a little while ago, you know, I still remember the most iconic Yes Sir campaign, which I think shook up a lot in the advertising world. It became one of the most iconic campaigns for the youngsters in those days.
Yeah.
Probably, what, about 15, 20 years back? Maybe, yeah, that's around the time I joined. So, you know, from Ranveer, from Yes Sir to Ranveer Baba.
Yeah.
Tell me more about Ranveer's campaign.
Well, he is one massive powerhouse character, you know, and getting him on board was a difficult task for us. You know, the day we joined the company, like I said, it's been 1 year. We started working on the campaign and we had to go live in next 4 months, which got stretched a little bit. 4 to 5 या 6 हो गया, but this guy is very professional. You know, he is very much into in depth. He would want to know why this script, what kind of script, why are we saying this, why are we saying not that. You know, he knows his game is what I'm trying to say, and getting him on board was interesting because he brought in his inputs. You know, when we spoke about the campaign is all about young audience out there, he said, you know, I'll just change my look and I'll come with a new look and that will help the brand, and it was so fascinating. And while we were in the middle of all this bhasad, jisko hum kehte hain, one fine day we get a call from Ranveer's team that he wants to discuss, and it was what, 11 p.m. in the night. I said, okay, abhi, you know, 1 ghante baad. Then we were like, okay, now what do we do? And me and my colleague Jasmita, we were like, ki, acha, kya baat karenge ye wo. And it was too funny because we went on and we went little, you know, hum beh gaye, in the sense ki, you know, hi Ranveer, we are fan, ye wo. Then he was like, you know what, I am very interested in this partnership. Karna kya hai, jo bologe, sab karenge, but I have few points in mind, and he gave some valid answers and valid reasons behind it. So we agreed to that, and you know, at the end of the day, when the campaign came out, everybody was so happy. We did something which was very much needed, and it was the ask of the hour.
I know, I'm sure it's amazing. No pictures?
Look at this.
Oh my God, this is rad. I think you should show it around.
That's Baba and Baba ka friend.
What a hope. This is totally Dilulu. Isn't that the word?
Yeah, Dilulu is the Silulu.
Yes. So, okay, cool. So, you know, you said you work late hours on days, and you're used to that culture of not really having a particular time frame. So, work from home would have been something which you would have really enjoyed, right?
Well, it depends person to person, to be very honest. I don't want to talk about everybody here. I want to talk about myself. Sure. I don't like work from homes because I feel I lose my focus to other things during work from home. Gaming, other things also.
Okay.
But I prefer working from office because it gives me that environment which I want to, you know, work in. And yeah, late hours is fine. I mean, we shut shop by 7 p.m. and if there is work, there is work. So it's not like we slog every day, but when it is required, we make sure that we put all the work efforts and 100% which is required. So yeah.
You know, because at office the work just never seems to end. But whereas if I work from home, I'm able to take that few minutes off to just stare at the greenery in my balcony, or, you know, have that 10 minutes of extra time with my dog.
Yeah.
So in a way, work from home energizes me and recharges me, because I take those few minutes off and I can come back far more focused and concentrating on the work that I need to do. And also I save that time which I
Yeah.
should spend on commuting.
Yeah.
So I think I'm able to put that into better use, and that makes me really happy. So it is, I guess, what you would say now as part of the work-life balance,
Yeah.
which of course in my time was a term I don't think existed. You know, if I just go back to when we started, it was all about what I said a little while ago, fire in the belly, you know, where you needed to prove yourself, you needed to do things. In fact, for us, what you said, putting in late hours, yes, we do. For us, it was almost like a way. If somebody called you or your bosses said they need this information by tomorrow morning, you ensured you worked overnight to get it.
Yeah.
You know, you ensured that you had everything in place so that by 9 o'clock you're ready with it, which today seems to be,
I think today
different, you know. So what I'm trying to say is, now when you think of fire in the belly, when I asked HR, I need somebody like that, they said, why would you want somebody with acidity problems? Literally? You know, that's what they understand it as. So I think it's quite different.
Yeah.
So how is it really for you? You were saying something, I think, when I was completing my statement.
I think what I was trying to say, ki, like you said, you know, if your boss is asking you to do something in the morning, that has become like a trait for us, you know. Okay, yeah, it is needed, so it's no surprise. We will get it done.
Really?
So, you know, making sure it's not about being a jugadu sort of a guy, but also it's more about being a hustler. The Gen Z, which we are talking about, there are two phases to it. It was pre-COVID and post-COVID. You know, we have become more matured in our thinking. We think a lot about how to invest our money. Also, I have SIPs, I have mutual funds. But yeah, and that's something which I started off with 500 rupees. Now I have increased it a lot. But having said that, it's also important that we understand what are our priorities. You know, it's not just about making money or traveling. It's also about taking care of our family. It's also about making sure your parents are happy, because for me especially, I live in Bangalore, my parents are in Jaipur. So we talk daily. There are often days when we don't talk, but I make sure they are happy out there. If there is anything which is needed, I help them out. So I think the generation is not only looking for recognition, but it is also looking for a purpose. Ki what exactly, you know, what change we are bringing in. And if the person knows that, it gives you, that person will give you more than 100% is what I think. So yeah, I mean, that is what we are.
You know, it's nice. It's nice to hear that. I guess I'm an outlier perhaps, you know, you're speaking of money matters. So I guess I've not been the one to invest really, though I think a lot of my friends and my peer probably do a very fine job of it. So it's always been a little slow, it's been more focused on things. While a lot from my generation probably would have saved up a lot, I haven't done that really. So I'm more in terms of living in the moment.
Okay.
And, you know, so I have a long distance marriage. And for a large part of my life, we've been in different cities, my husband and me. So while work is paramount for me, you know, work is something that gives me the drive, the passion, you know, the fire in the belly kind of an energy which I want to do something. I also take time off.
Yeah.
So when you were talking that it's not about just travel and whatever else you mentioned,
yeah.
For me it's all about travel.
Okay.
Okay, that's my first love. And what I do is we ensure that we take time off.
Yeah.
And we do things which we've been wanting to do. So I have a bucket list of places, like whether it is chasing the aurora borealis, whether it is seeing, you know, proboscis monkeys in the jungles of Borneo, or walking a trail and having these tiger leeches plucked off from my leech socks, you know, in the Dunham Valley, which I did just recently. So for me, or skydiving. I'm an adrenaline junkie. Or skydiving in Auckland, you know, when I was there some years back. So for me, it's all about gathering experiences, you know, all about this kind of experience, which is okay, you work so that I work so that I can earn the money so that I can do these things.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what gives me the kick, and I guess that's why I work. So tell me a little more. I mean, I'm sure there are things you do other than work as well.
Yeah, I mean, I do socialize. Last night only I was socializing till 2 a.m.
Shows from the questions.
But you know, travel is something which I think we have common, and I'm really impressed. Yeah, I mean the things which you just mentioned, and yes, but for me, I think I'm a person who loves to explore the country first, because I travel in the country, like coming from Northeast, there are so many things to do, you know.
Totally.
Starting from a music festival in Nagaland, which is Hornbill,
on my bucket list.
doing something in Kerala or doing something in Kashmir or taking a ride to Ladakh. Those are some of the things which I love doing. You know, I was part of a biking group.
I was just going to ask you that when you said driving to Ladakh.
Yeah, so I was part of this Yamaha biking group while I was studying in Ahmedabad. And what we used to do, I mean, weekend trips to hota tha, but during one Independence Day, we decided to go to India-Pakistan border on the Gujarat side, which is Kutch.
Okay.
So we took all the permissions. My sister being the journalist, she helped us. And we did a very cool ride. I mean, like 8-9 bikers went from Ahmedabad to Kutch, which was 1200 kilometers. Spent the night with the Jawans there, the soldiers there. Then we moved to the main border, which is 200 kilometers away. I mean, from the base point. So we met them. We gave them gifts, celebrated Independence Day, and it was a hell lot of an experience. And till today, that was one ride which I always go back to, and that's one sweet memory.
So let's do something fun. Let's do a round of rapid fire.
Oh, nice. I also have a few questions.
Jesus, you too? First me.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Your first social media platform that you used?
Orkut. I loved scrapbooks.
First email ID?
whitekoth@gmail.com. Well, I was very much inclined towards rock music and got inspired by the West, so yeah.
And what about the first Titan ad you saw?
I remember the Amir Khan ad where he was in his look of Mangal Pandey.
Ah, nice, nice. And the first app you downloaded on your phone?
I think it was Facebook.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it was Facebook.
Okay.
I'll go?
Yeah?
Okay. Tell me, what was the latest Gen Z term which you have heard? Not the term, the slang you have heard.
Dilulu is the new Sululu. And also the word which is there now, Riz.
Riz? No, okay. Okay, I don't know the word.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move.
I told you I'm
next question. What was the first TV program that you binged?
Ramayan.
Oh yeah,
And of course, there was Carl Sagan's Cosmos.
Okay.
Which was my favorite serial actually. And there was another serial which had come out then which I thought was very nice called Surabhi, which used to be actually having these two people who would, okay, I know it's rapid fire, but nonetheless, which used to be about talking about the various parts of India and nuances, you know. So I think that's when I really fell in love with my country.
Okay. What was the first phone that you have used?
Nokia 3310.
3310. Okay. Okay. I don't know which phone is that. What's the latest hand sign you have learned?
Saranghae.
Oh. All right.
So you're Saranghae to everybody out there. I hope you enjoyed the show.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. That is us.